Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our today's office hour on California's BEAD Subgrantee selection process. My name is Ali Ashraghi, and I serve as a program and project supervisor here at California Public Utilities Commission. I'm joined today by my colleagues from CPUC and CTC Technology and Energy, as well as Ready.net. In terms of today's agenda, we'll start with a brief welcome and some housekeeping notes, which includes an overview of how we are running this office hour, as well as the scope of office hour. We'll then move on to the main segment, which is the question Q&A part. And at the end, we'll wrap up by outlining next steps and sharing some important reminders. Let's cover the guidelines for participating in today's Q&A session. To ask a question, please write your question in the chat, and we will go through the questions one by one. If you need additional information or clarification from you, you'll be called on and can unmute yourself and speak after that. Keep yourself on mute until it's your turn to speak. If you're called upon to clarify any parts of your question, please provide the clarification in the chat afterward. This helps us accurately capture your input for inclusion in the FAQ document that we are publishing regularly, and I'll provide more information on that later. We'll start the first round of questions, giving everyone a chance to ask one question. Please avoid multi-part questions during this round. After the initial round, if time allows, we open the floor for additional questions. During the Q&A session, if you would like to follow up on someone else's question, please write it in the chat and wait to be called upon. Thank you for your cooperation. In terms of the scope of this session is focused on the question about the subgrantee selection process. We have opened the pre-qualification portal last week and project application portal yesterday. The documents and guides are available on our website as well. There might be questions during this session that we are not able to provide answering during this call. We'll include them in the FAQ document. If those are urgent or you want to add some elements to that, please email us at beadgrant@cpuc.ca.gov. But anyway, we'll include those questions in the next FAQ version that we have published. We are publishing our FAQ document frequently to include the questions that we have received during these sessions in the past weeks, as well as through other communications tools, such as including our BEAD grant at cpuc.ca.gov, as well as BEAD at cpuc.ca.gov. If you have questions about the challenge process or like a map in general, please email them to the BEAD at cpuc.ca.gov. This session is focused on the subgrantee selection process, and we may not have the right subject matter expert to answer those questions. I want to note that there were questions in terms of reconciliation and map in the previous sessions that we mentioned that we are including those in our FAQ document. Those questions have been and answers been drafted and are going to be in the next version of FAQ that we will publish in the next couple of business days. So please review those responses. And if you have any follow-up question or other elements that you want to ask about, please email us or bring it up in our next session. As a reminder, the CPUC is required to follow the rules established by the NTIA, which administers the BEAD program. And as I mentioned, the question during this session will be included in our next version, not the version that we are publishing in the next couple of days, but the version after that. And the recording of this session is also going to be posted on our website. Thank you for joining us today, and let's get started with your questions. The first question, if a municipal applicant has a strategic broadband deployment project plan to build backhaul and middle mile fiber to support last mile connections to city facilities that are not BEAD eligible, but the backhaul and middle mile overlap with their BEAD project area, can the city use as in-kind match the backhaul and middle mile fiber required to support the last mile connections with proposed BEAD funded locations? If so, would they need to wait until awarded to begin the backhaul or middle mile construction? I'll ask our colleague from CTC, Ziggy, to uh, provide his insight into this.
Sure. So under very limited circumstances, it could be provided as, for example, as in-kind match, but it would have to be the part of it that you provide for the BEAD project would have to be dedicated to the BEAD project. So it could not be shared. It would have to be exclusive to BEAD. For example, a certain number of strands, and then they'd have to be valued at market pricing. So it's under very specific circumstances, it may be eligible.
Thank you. So moving on to the next question, we are seeking confirmation on whether certain costs tied to fixed wireless projects are considered allowable under the BEAD program. Specifically, would the lease of capacity for backhaul to or from a fixed wireless, as an example, be considered an eligible expenses? Is that the state's understanding as well? Ziggy, do you have any insight?
Um, I'll take the details of it in a FAQ just to provide more nuance on it. But generally speaking, long-term leases are certainly allowable, and especially for capacity for backhaul, that NTA specifically called that out as eligible expense.
Thanks, Ziggy. Kate, do you have a follow-up since uh, to your previous question? If so, please go on.
Thanks. Yeah. I was just wondering about the timeline of construction. So like in that limited way that backhaul or middle mile could be used if there were strands in the middle mile or backhaul dedicated to BEAD use only, could that construction occur prior to award agreement and still be part of that match, or would they have to wait until the award agreement is in place in order to even begin constructing that part, like laying that fiber conduit?
So if it's not completed, then it could be provided as a cash match, for example, or a cash expense. It's an eligible expense. Remember, it has to be an eligible expense. So if it's something that is specifically funded under another grant program, you're not allowed to have double funding. So from a federal entity. So it depends. That's why I said there are some caveats around this. So if it's not done yet and it's an eligible expense, then it can be cash, either expenditure or match, whichever column it is placed in. If it's and if it's already constructed, then it could be in-kind match, and then it's valued at market price.
Okay, I'm wondering more just like on the timeline though, right? They haven't begun constructing, it's planned, but we don't yet know when California will have the final proposal approved by NTIA, right? So even after selection is over, then it has to get approved by NTIA. So it's a little bit unclear when like the timeline would actually start for building the BEAD funded projects. And so I guess that's more my question, right? Like if they have a plan to build this middle mile backhaul and it overlaps with the BEAD project and they want to get started with construction prior to the award agreement if they're selected, like does that negate the match?
I think we need to take protests.
Yeah, I'll have to take that's
Yes,
a complicated question, and I want to understand it. So if you, I don't know if you wrote it here in detail, but if you can provide it in a little bit more detail in an email or something like that, then
Okay.
we can do a much better job of getting the nuances out of the way.
Thanks.
Thanks. So moving on to the next question, I might need to ask for clarification on this. The question is, we are preparing a $0 grant proposal for a project area that is already served by a reliable broadband service. Given that no BEAD funds are being requested, can we assume that requirements like submitting audited financials or obtaining a letter of credit will not apply in our case?
I'll definitely take that one offline. There are lots of gray areas in terms of what $0 proposals mean. So I'll take that offline and provide a full answer in a frequently asked question.
Great, thank you. And Timmy, if you have any more information in regards to your question, please either type in the chat or email us so we can provide a more comprehensive answer. Thank you. The next question is about BEAD eligibility and FCC map updates. We are under the impression that the BEAD application would reflect a more recent version of the FCC broadband map. Many ISPs have submitted corrections, and the current map still shows thousands of locations at BEAD eligible, even though they are actually served. A lot of this was addressed in FCC map version 5 using CostQuest data version 9. Can anyone confirm whether there is an update plan to align BEAD eligibility with this newer data, or if the current application process is locked to an earlier map version? So this is in relation to the reconciliation questions that I mentioned at top. So those are going to be covered in the FAQ that we are planning to release hopefully tomorrow, if not on Monday. Please review those answers and let us know if you have any follow-ups or if any part of that is not clear enough and you need to have more clarification. Thanks. So the next question is about FS. So in the last few weeks, we will update an FAQ every other week. During the application process, we are trying to do that every week. You're right, the last version was on March 21st. 2 weeks from March 21st is going to be tomorrow. Starting next week, we are going to aim for publishing an update every week. As I said at the beginning, if there is an urgent question that you need answer, please email those to us at beadgrant@cpuc.ca.gov. The next question is, what is the email we should send questions to? As I mentioned, and my colleague can put it in the chat, beadgrant@cpuc.ca.gov. And I asked my colleague to put it in the chat so you can see that. While we are waiting for the next question, I just note that when we publish the FAQ document, there is always a column on the right side, which notes the version. Sometimes there are questions from the previous version that we update based on the new elements related to that question, or a new aspect of that questions. And we note that as updated in which version. So just to help you track the different versions of the FAQ and what questions are new or updated. So the next question is about project application. Question 4.7di asks, will the proposed infrastructure include a cost-effective future upgrade and capital investment path, meaning the proposed network can meet future speed and performance needs? By what standard are you measuring cost-effective future upgrades? Joe, do you have any insight into this? This is something that we take offline.
Well, we should take that one offline. Good question.
Thank you. We'll provide this in our FAQ document. So the next question is also about the project application. Question 5.3 and 5.15 request shape files with overlapping requirements. Are we able to use the same package for both uploads that includes all layers required, or am I misunderstanding those? Joe?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And so 5.15, that's the start of the California Environmental Quality Act, the CEQA environmental questions. And then 5.3 is the project. I'd say yes, as long as you could use the same upload, as long as it has everything that's required for both questions.
Thanks. Giving it a few more minutes to see if there are any other questions. For those folks who joined recently, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll go through them in order. The next question is how long will it take for review of the pre-qual in order to receive access to the application portal? In terms of the reviewing process, we cannot provide a timeline. We will review them as we receive them, and please check the portal if there are any revision requests that we submit to your application. In terms of the application portal, as soon as you submit your pre-qualification, you are able to start going through your project application and submit that, but we will not review those until your pre-qual is approved. Joe, anything to add?
No, that's perfect. Yeah, as soon as you submit your pre-qual, you can start on your project application.
So the next question is about Form 175 being needed beyond the information requested in the ownership template requirement in the updated FAQ tomorrow. Yes, that question is being included and will be fully part of that FAQ. Thank you. And as I just wanted to note again that considering that we are trying to update the FAQ document more frequently, hopefully every week. But if there are questions that you think it's urgent for you to get answered, please email those to us. We are trying to meet the 72-hour business hours for the questions that we receive via email. We still include those in our FAQ document, but we also get back to those emails within our timeline. And if we cannot provide a response during that time, we'll update you that we need more time. The next question, how many pre-qualification applications have you received so far? I don't think we are able to answer that at this point. Thanks, Kate. Giving it another minute to see if there is any other question. Sam, if you can go back to the slides. Thank you. So
Ali, can I'd like to address the Form 175. I know that we're providing answers in
sure.
The frequently asked questions, but it's worth it just to reiterate. I think we in a previous session we did relate that the template that is there can be used for both the relevant questions that was asked about. So there is no need for a Form 175. And that relates to a part of CFR that has to do with the specific Form 175 has to do with FCC auctions, which don't really apply here. But in any case, the provided template will take care of all the requirements if you fill that out.
Kate, go ahead.
So you're saying the certifications on Form 175, which are part of that CFR, whatever the number is, like those certifications are not the important thing. It was like the data at the top about the organization, which is also captured in the other places. Okay, thank you.
Yes, just a template. You fill it out, you're good.
Thanks.
Thank you. So since we don't have another question, we can move forward with wrapping up. So please sign up on our website to receive emails, updates about the BEAD program if you haven't already. As I mentioned during this call, if you have any questions about the BEAD subgrantee selection process, please email those at beadgrant@cpuc.ca.gov. And if you have any inquiries about the BEAD program in California in general, please email those to bead@cpuc.ca.gov. As mentioned, we are aiming to publish the next version of FAQ tomorrow. And we continue with these office hours over the next few weeks/months as we go through the application process. Every Thursday, 1 to 2 p.m. In addition, there are other resources available and will be posted more on our website in terms of different webinars explaining different elements of the program. These sessions for the office hours, as well as the recorded webinars that we provide on our website, are open forum for stakeholders to get information. And these office hours in a specific are about an open forum for stakeholders to ask specific questions, seek clarification, and receive guidance on the BEAD application process. Stakeholders are encouraged to attend these sessions to fully understand the requirements and opportunities provided through the BEAD program. These events are designed to promote transparency, collaboration, and success for all potential subgrantees. Thank you for your participation and engagement today. Have a great afternoon.